Good morning, everyone. It's Saturday, February 8th, 2025, and I am out here on a very frozen morning in the Jim Thorpe rail yard. That was the PIJT, the all-day Pittston to Jim Thorpe excursion train that just went by. And this is not exactly the intro I planned because I did arrive a few minutes late. Now this is going to be what I consider a very special video because I want to highlight some of the operational challenges we have on a very busy rail weekend. Now you might think February 8th, that shouldn't be too busy, right? Wrong. That's because we are running our first ever winter Iron Horse Ramble today with steam locomotive number 2102. You can hear some horns going on at the courtyard crossing in the town of Jim Thorpe. And that ramble presents some logistical challenges, including an aspect you haven't seen before on any other ramble. Now I am going to soon be moving up to the Y between Jim Thorpe and Glen Onoko for most of the morning. Just listening to the horns again. And once up at the Y, I'll talk more about how we maneuver what's going to be 4 different trains through a very tight area in a very short amount of time, including multiple passes for some of those trains. Now what you're hearing, that horn, that is the Lehigh Gorge Scenic Railway, the 11 o'clock excursion train, leaving the station now. We coordinated so that the Gorge train and the PIJT pass each other. So the Gorge train, the LGSR, is going to come along the wall track. That's the one furthest away from me, up against the stone wall, hence the name. The LGSR will pass through the diamond to get onto that track, and then once they are clear of the diamond, the PIJT will proceed to the station. Now some of the clips in this video are going to be the same that you saw in my 2102 video prior, but there's lots and lots of new stuff here, guys, and I think you're going to find it interesting, so stick with me. Here comes the LGSR. People on board. This is our King Cole Cafe in car number 1167, Queen of the Valley. Maybe a little bit confusing with the names, but we'll go with it. And here comes the Little Red Caboose. Unfortunately, we're not selling tickets for that in the winter, but you'll be able to ride it again come spring. Alright guys, let's get off this messy, icy road here and head up to the Y. I'll see you in a minute. Alright guys, and look what we're catching up with here. We're catching up with the Lehigh Gorge Scenic Railway. And just before the Coal Bridge, which is this bridge off to our left, they went through River Junction. River Junction is what connects the Jim Thorpe branch to our main line. The train is now on our main line heading north into Lehigh Gorge. This is the same track that the PIJT just came down maybe 20 minutes prior to this. And that's why the 2 trains had to pass in the rail yard just north of Jim Thorpe Station, because this is only a single track main, so you can't have them both going
our advanced approach being tracked.
So you can do the math and see that you can't have two trains going in opposite directions at once here.
We're going to PIJT over. We're going to PIJT at Jim Thorpe Station looking for permission for a partial spin on the line.
Now this is what we call Coal, which is Coalport Junction. And that leads on to the branch that heads down, that's our Lehigh branch, that heads down into the Lehigh and Packerton rail yards.
Jim Thorpe Junction to allow OSJT.
There we go. And they are slowing down to give the passengers a better look as they go over the bridge at Glen Onoko. Now they'll move into the rock cut.
Back, one to the cross, and here we go. Approach River, Jim Thorpe Branch, white track west out.
Alright guys, this isn't quite going to plan. Everything out here is extremely icy and slippery. This trail has no winter maintenance. But what you see now is the PIJT backing through the Coalport Bridge. The purpose of this is the train needs to be turned around for the return trip so that the engine's pointing forward.
2023, clear parade.
And so we have the conductor actually at the end of King Coal. And they'll pull through here. Now they're going a little further than I expected. But what'll happen is they'll throw the switch at River, and then the train will proceed forward across our freight bridge. Now that freight bridge is part of our main line. It'll head west/south on the main line till it clears Jim Thorpe Junction, which is on the other side of the river.
23, approach river, main track south.
And then it'll shove back into town, and it is all set for the return trip this afternoon as the JTPI. Alright guys, well they prepare to go through Jim Thorpe Junction and back out onto the main. I'm going to put these spikes on my boots. They're like snow chains for my feet.
Stop signal. Jim Thorpe Junction, main track south.
Okay, they have a stop signal, so I don't know, maybe they're going to hold for the OSJT. Anyway, I've got to somehow traverse this icy path to Nesquehoning Junction, or unfortunately we're going to miss 2102 coming through with the Iron Horse Ramble. So give me a minute, guys. Hopefully we make it. Hey guys, I got to Nesquehoning Junction literally just in time. I hear the steam locomotive approaching, and I'm going to talk about why this location and what's so special about it, even if it's visually speaking maybe not 100% the best view. We're going to talk about this in a minute. But let's watch the OSJT come through Nesquehoning Junction. That's the PQ switch tower. This near track is the track that leads out to River Junction. And that goes back out to the main north into Lehigh Gorge. That far track is where the OSJT is going to be coming through in just a minute. Alright guys, now the next train movement that's going to happen is you're going to have the PIJT come down the same track that 2102 just traversed. The only difference is the PIJT will be shoving back into town. That gets it ready for the return trip. Now they're going to be moving any minute now. So really quick, guys, before they get here, I want to talk about what's going on with this bench that I was pointing at earlier. For those of you who followed my channel for quite a while, it's been nearly 2 years since we lost my dear friend Bill Solomon. And yeah, 2 years later, guys, I'm still getting choked up about losing him. He had so much to do with me getting this job here with Reading and Northern. First as a car host, narrator, ticket agent, and now as a full-time graphic designer, sign maker, map maker, videographer, photographer, and who knows what else. I do a lot of stuff here, guys. But all that stuff probably would not have happened if it hadn't been for Bill and his encouragement and him putting a good word in for me. And this bench was placed sometime last summer. Our mutual friend and colleague Chip Burnett, who's a car host and narrator on the Lehigh Gorge Scenic Railway, he raised the funds to have this put out here as a memorial for Bill. Sorry, guys, I still just miss him so much. But Bill, wherever you are in the great beyond, I know you love this railroad, especially the steam locomotives. So let's have a seat here with him and watch the PIJT come through.
2023 back 8. 2023 restricting Nesquehoning Junction, Jim Thorpe Branch East. 2023 F20.
Alright, guys, and I've made my way back north just a little bit. We were just down there by Nesquehoning Junction. I made my way onto the Nesquehoning Bridge because the next train coming through is going to be the return of the 11 o'clock Lehigh Gorge Scenic Railway excursion. That'll be shoving back through the Coalport Bridge and down this branch track into the town of Jim Thorpe. When you look down the river here, you can actually see Jim Thorpe. It's right in the center of the screen. But that is the east side of town. Our train station is hidden behind Mount Pisgah here. And if you know anything about Jim Thorpe history, just on the other side of this was the inclined plane where the Mauch-Chunk switchback gravity railroad would bring the empty cars up. There actually used to be a trestle bridge in the mountain, and then it would go down. Now, mind you, this is all happening on the other side. It would go 9 miles downhill to Summit Hill, fed mostly by gravity, although somewhere along the line I understand there was a second small incline lift hill. And what powered those lifts? Well, there were steam engines, not locomotives, but stationary steam engines at the top of each lift. That's the precursor to the modern day roller coaster. Guys, I love roller coasters. I've ridden some of the biggest and best, but what I wouldn't give for a trip back in time, imagine riding that in the 1800s when people weren't used to cars on freeways and airplanes in the sky. This had to be a thrill and a scare beyond all imagination back in the day. Alright, enough rambling. Who wants to see the Gorge train? Alright guys, and now the real fun is about to begin, both for us as rail fans and for the passengers on the Iron Horse Ramble. But wait, the passengers are not allowed on for the Y move, are they? Well, guess what, guys? That's a new feature for 2025. Yes, they are. If you ride one of these trains, you either have the option of getting off in Jim Thorpe Station, or you can stay on for the Y move for a little extra time with 2102. So the next train coming through will indeed be the Ramble's train. 2102 is going to be coming up the same track that the Lehigh Gorge Scenic Railway just went down. They'll bring the entire consist through the Coalport Bridge, clear the signal on the other side, and then they'll make the same move that the PIJT did. They'll go across the freight bridge, which is our main line. And if you're a passenger, that's technically rare mileage. It's getting to be a little less rare now that we have the Nesquehoning station, but I'm willing to bet that most passengers still haven't ridden across it. And then they'll continue through to Jim Thorpe Junction, and then they'll back down this track to Nesquehoning Junction and shove back into Jim Thorpe. And after that happens, guys, there's another little surprise I haven't told you about yet. Well, look who we found here.
Who? Where?
Our favorite foamer, Colin from PA and Northeastern Rail Fan.
Favorite?
I'm
so happy.
And look at this, he's even wearing the same hat that I am.
Gotta represent.
I might be calling myself a foamer too, guys. How was your chase so far?
It's been interesting. Overall, not bad. I definitely got 3 decent shots. Tamaqua Tunnel was interesting.
I was a little surprised when I saw this ice down here. I was thinking about you and Tamaqua Tunnel.
Yeah,
and,
imagine this everywhere.
And you made it down and back up? Or
yeah,
did you?
I did.
He slid down. He had to get out his pickaxe and climbing rope to get back up.
There's a lot of people out today, despite the weather and the ice and everything. There's hundreds.
It is a lot of people.
Traffic has been interesting. Of course, you're doing your best to be safe and everything. So, yeah. But we made it. We're here, and now we get to see it go around the Y.
Yeah.
For the first time with passengers.
Exactly. I wish I could be in 2 places at once.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right, guys. You can see the steam and smoke as 2102 rounds the bend, but because they're shoving back, you're going to see that first car come past the PQ switch tower any second. It's a long train today, guys. 16 cars.
clear 6.
Alright guys, so I talked about a surprise train earlier. Here it is, and it actually even surprised me a little bit because I was staying out here by the freight bridge. It was supposed to come across there, wait for the 1 o'clock gorge train to go through, and then shove back to Jim Thorpe. But they decided to come here instead. So I am rail fanning with Good Colin. Guess who our conductor is? That's right, Bad Colin. Bad Colin didn't tell us the change in plans. But you know what, guys? This train is still really cool, so we'll forgive him. Alright, so enough about the Collins. Why am I even talking about this train and why is it here? You notice we have the white water tanker, which is normally already staged in the Jim Thorpe yard. But because, see all this white stuff on the ground, guys? That's called snow. and that only exists when it's below freezing, and it has been below freezing up here almost all day, every day for the last couple weeks. So what we did, we put that white water tanker inside of Building 3 in Nesquehoning, and now the NQEX, which is the Nesquehoning Extra, is delivering that tanker to Jim Thorpe so that 2102's tender can be refilled. After that happens, they'll take the tanker back to the yard and drain it so it doesn't freeze, and then they'll take 801 back to Nesquehoning. That switcher pretty much lives on campus full-time for us to move things around there. Now it's going to sit here and wait for the 1 o'clock departure of the Lehigh Gorge Scenic Railway to go through. So we will film both trains in just a minute for me and a couple seconds for you guys. Alright guys, and with the Gorge train out of the way, the NQEX is clear to proceed through Nesquehoning Junction into Jim Thorpe. Alright guys, and that's how you get 4 trains through a very tight area with a single track main in the span of less than 2 hours. Hope you learned something, hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you down the tracks.